everyone. This is Carolyn Kozanoff, Lexington's Assistant Town Manager for Finance, and I am here today to do a quick overview and informational primer on free cash. Since the start of the 2026 annual town meeting, we have received many questions about free cash, what it is, how it's used, best practices, and we thought that this video would be helpful for you as you are making your decisions at this annual town meeting. So, first of all, what is free cash? Free cash is a term that we use to refer to the general fund's undesignated or unreserved fund balance, which is then later adjusted and certified by the Department of Revenue. For those new to municipal finances, the general fund is the town's primary operating account where all of the tax levy, state aid, and local revenues are recorded, and also the account where all of the town's annual operating expenses are paid from. In each fiscal year, any revenue that is surplus over what we originally estimated, or the turnback of any budgeted but unused expenses, will add to the town's undesignated fund balance. If revenues fall short of our estimates or expenses exceed our budgeted amounts, those will decrease our undesignated fund balance. So how is free cash generated? It is generally the result of the town's conservative budgeting and annual fiscal management practices. And these are some examples of how it is generated. Common line items where local receipts come in higher than estimates are motor vehicle excise taxes, building permits, and investment income. Construction development may also add new tax levy growth in real estate and personal property. Historically, we have also seen annual turnback of budgeted but unused expenses from municipal, school, and our shared service departments. At the end of each fiscal year, the finance staff review our capital project accounts and return any previously appropriated but unused free cash from capital projects that have now been complete. And lastly, any unallocated free cash in one year will automatically roll over into the next fiscal year and sort of acts as an informal reserve. So what does the certification process look like? Each year at the June 30th year-end close, the town will submit its balance sheet and other financial reports to the Massachusetts Department of Revenue after the close. The DOR starts the certification process by taking our general fund undesignated fund balance from our balance sheet. They will reduce that amount by any year-end deficits and our non-general fund accounts, such as capital projects, grants, and revolving funds. They then further reduce the balance by the amount of any outstanding receivables the town has from tax deferrals or tax bills or refunds due. The resulting balance will be the town's certified free cash as of that year end. Slide 5 presents the history of the town's certified free cash balance over the last 20 years, along with the components that generated that free cash, whether it be surplus revenue or reductions based on DOR or the town's budgeted expenses. It's important to understand that this balance is not growing, but regenerating each year in an amount that aligns with our total budget. At the close of fiscal year 2025, our free cash balance was $20.75 million as certified by DOR, and of that amount, $18.24 million is recommended for appropriation at this current annual town meeting. The remaining unallocated balance of $2.5 million is being held in reserve and will carry forward into 2026 if it remains unallocated. So these are some important facts that everyone should understand about free cash. So it does not change during the year. There is just one certified amount at the end of each year as of the date of the fiscal year close, which is June 30th. Free cash can accumulate if you do not appropriate or spend it, but in Lexington, it is not our practice to do that. We deploy the majority of our free cash at every annual town meeting. Typically, we appropriate about 90% of our free cash in total, and it goes to a variety of one-time purposes. Our primary use for free cash is our cash capital projects, which are outlined in our 5-year capital plan. But each year, we also try to add free cash to some of our reserves, such as the OPEB fund, pension fund, school special ed reserve or special ed stabilization fund, or for other items such as the Lexington Vision for Lexington survey or the school literacy curriculum. So free cash is considered a non-recurring revenue source because of the way that it is generated, and therefore it does come along with guidelines and best practices. The Massachusetts Department of Revenue has the following recommendations for municipalities. We should budget for the creation of free cash using conservative revenue and expenditure estimates. Our budget should include provisions to ensure the generation and use align with our cash capital needs and our reserve fund policies. Because free cash is considered a one-time revenue, it should be restricted to paying one-time expenditures, such as funding capital projects and replenishing or building reserves. Free cash should not be budgeted for ongoing operational expenses, such as contractual services or salaries. There is no guarantee that free cash will be regenerated, and so it should not be counted on to pay for any recurring or obligated expenses. Lastly, communities should understand the role free cash plays in sustaining a strong credit rating and strive to generate free cash in an amount equal to 5 to 7% of their annual budget. This slide compares the town's certified free cash generated in each fiscal year to the total budget of the year it was generated in. Over the last 15 years, this metric has mostly trended within the DOR's guidelines. What this means is that the town has budgeted conservatively enough to generate a surplus, but not so conservatively that we are sitting on large amounts of unused funds. When considering our recent history and the robust amounts of free cash generated the last 3 years, it's important to note one trend, which is the town's investment income. Investment income is earned on the town's general fund balance throughout the year. Over the last 10 years, you can see the small amounts budgeted each year, and in the early years of very low interest rates, the town was generating small surpluses. In the post-pandemic years, as interest rates skyrocketed, the town generated very large surpluses in investment income, and you can see this in fiscal years 2023 to 2025. Without the significant contributions from investment income, the total free cash generated in those years would have been more modest than in line with the years before that. All said, in reaction to this trend and due to budget pressures, management has increased the amount of investment income estimated in our budget each year, which will lead to lower surpluses in future years. It's also important to understand there's an inherent risk in this change because if we experience a rapid decline in interest rates, these surpluses will diminish. More importantly, the town may be forced to reduce our revenue projections in future years as to not leave us with a revenue shortfall. This will mean smaller increases in revenue and therefore smaller expense budget increases in future years. This last slide explains the timing of when free cash is certified and when it's available for appropriation. The town cannot appropriate free cash from July 1st of each year until it is certified by the Department of Revenue, which usually occurs in December or in early January of the following year. The town closed the fiscal 25 books as of June 30th, 2025, and the DOR certified our free cash balance in January of this year at $20,759,729. The majority of this balance is recommended for appropriation at this annual town meeting for the fiscal 27 budget, and we can continue to make appropriations up until this June 30th, 2026. Beginning on July 1st, the town will have a new general fund undesignated fund balance that incorporates all new revenues, expenses, and appropriations made during the last fiscal year. Free cash as of June 30th, 2026 is expected to be certified in late 2026 or early 27 and will be available when we vote the 2028 budget. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope it has been helpful.